This is What's Up with Jim. Today we're going to be talking about a single mom's view on raising kids by themselves. Today I have Jennifer with me, and I'm going to go through a series of questions, and she's going to give us some answers and give us her view on talking about how it is to raise a 3 or 4 kids by herself. Okay, so my first question to you is, what is your favorite part about being a mother?
I have kids. I have family. I grew up without a family, basically. My mom and my grandma were my only family members, but they weren't the type of parents or relatives that you would think you would have. So basically, to have my own kids is my own immediate family, and they're always there for me, and I can count on them when I need to.
Okay. What is your biggest struggle as being a single mom?
Bills. They seem to be overwhelming. You feel like you're just working to survive and pay everything, and you still can't make it. You have to keep on going.
Okay. So when you say bills, is that because of the fact that you are paying all the bills yourself, or because you're getting more bills, or because there's hospital bills for the kids, or is it?
No, paying more bills for myself. We've had like a lapse in insurance because I work too much to get to the office that I need to apply it to. So things will just eventually pile up.
Okay. All right. How many kids do you have?
I have 3.
Okay. What is their ages?
I have a 7-year-old, 10-year-old, and almost 14-year-old.
Okay. So what is it like when you have the different ages in the household, and you by yourself, and then having boys, and you being a great mom yourself and trying to be that role model for those boys?
Well, it's hard. My son, he kind of regrets me because his father isn't in the picture, which it's not my fault. But
is that the older boy or the younger one?
My oldest one.
Okay.
Yeah. And he doesn't get that male role model in his life. So he only has a female. He's not pushed to do anything that a father would do with the child, since I'm always working.
Okay. And the younger boy is more in tune with her. He doesn't understand yet that far as that.
He has his father in the picture, so he has that bond that is needed for a young kid or a boy. And he spends a lot of his time with his father, which I think also my oldest kind of regrets too, that he has a father, but he doesn't.
Okay. And with the is it easier to relate with your daughter because she's a girl, or is it more you think that she needs that male also in the household?
No, it's easier with me and her because she's the girl.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's easiest with my youngest
Oh,
because he's still the baby and wants a hug. My others are just too independent.
Oh, okay. All right. So what age do you think that being a single mom you are, what age do you think that normally boys, like your son is 14, what age do you think they normally go and try to be independent on their own?
Well, mine have had to start earlier because I work almost 12 hours every day, 7 days a week. So I've had to teach them how to cook on their own, how to make foods that they're able to make. And yeah, so it's not as easy. But. Okay.
And so do your older son feel like he is actually the male of the family? Or
no, he's still the kid.
He's still a kid. He doesn't try to take on
no.
that? Okay.
I have to push him to do it, but he will do it when I ask.
When he asks, okay. Okay. All right. So what's one of the advantages and disadvantages of raising kids, you can say?
Advantages, of course, is having that family I never really had.
Okay.
Disadvantages, not being able to spend the time with them that I need to form them, to get them into activities. Like none of them want to do sports. And I'm like, why? I love sports as a kid. I love playing them still. Yeah. But they just don't want to do it. And I don't know how to push them to do it.
Yeah.
You don't want to push too hard.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. So are they, so when you say that the extracurricular activities that they want to do, is that something that you try to encourage them and ask them, is there something going on out there that they like and they just
don't want to do anything. Basketball, soccer, anything. My oldest, I signed him up for track without him knowing, but he ended up loving it. But when I asked him if he wanted to do something else, he said no.
Really?
So I was like, okay. But he still is looking, like he's already thinking of what he wants to do when he grows up.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so he's more on that. And of course he loves video games, so he's trying to go into computer programming.
Oh, wow. Okay.
but he doesn't want to read anything on how to do it now.
So does
So it's hard.
Yeah. So do they do? So when you say that they don't do that, they don't want to be in the activities as far as athletics and so forth. Are you saying that outside of the athletics, are there other programs that they have
No,
interest?
even that. Like, I signed my oldest up for Boys and Girls Club. He went a couple days just to play the video games. And he said the boys were mean and he didn't like them. So he's like, we have the system at home. I'll just stay home and play it. And I'm like, but it's social. You know, you got to get out and make friends. And they just don't want to.
So good. I'm glad you brought that social word up, because is it harder for kids that when you're a single mom and is it harder for you to teach those social skills for kids, or by yourself, or is it easier?
No, it's definitely harder because I can't get out there to the activities. Like, Elgin holds a lot of things. I signed them up for this police program. It's for during the summer, but they still don't want to go to that. I signed them up anyways, but they were just complaining the whole time at the stand because we went to something at Festival Park they had.
Okay.
And we went just to see the town and, you know, get to know people. But they can't even get out the house.
Right. So do they have quite a few friends in within the neighborhood, or they just pretty much play with each other?
No, like, we moved in this house in March, and we have a group of kids that are always outside playing basketball in the street, stuff like that. They don't want to go outside.
They don't go outside.
They don't even want to go outside at all in the backyard to play. You brought the toys.
Wow.
They went outside.
Oh,
the drones and everything like that.
Yeah.
They loved it, but they just otherwise don't want to make friends. They have 1 million at school. That's why they're happy to go back to their same schools. But no, not during the summer.
That's tough. That's very tough. Oh, wow. Okay, what do you do to balance your time for yourself?
I don't have any.
So you don't make time for yourself?
No.
Why do you feel you don't have any time for yourself?
Because then if I make time for myself, then I'll take away from me working. Like, if I'm not working my full-time job, I'm doing DoorDash. I'm doing some kind of delivery service to make extra money, to have gas for the next day, food, anything like that. Like, we don't get food stamps. We don't get anything with, like, help like that. So I rely fully either on my money or pantries.
Okay. So you're saying that, so you never take time to, as far as being on a vacation for yourself or stuff like that?
Well, I did find my father through a DNA test.
Really?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes. After 32 years of not having a father, I felt like DNA tests would probably find him. I not only found him, I found a sister and a stepmom.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
so
awesome.
we did make time for 4th of July. We drove down to Oklahoma to meet them. And my oldest actually stayed there. He just got back 2 days ago.
So how was that when you met them?
I didn't really have high expectations because I didn't want to let myself down, but he's awesome. I like my dad. Yeah, it still feels weird, you know, having a father, saying dad, all of that. Right. But there's still life to live, so I still have time to make memories, learn about him learn about me. And yeah.
And your sister, how did that go?
My sister, pretty awesome. She kind of knew I was around, but she didn't know. Like, she was told when I was born, she was 7. Okay. So they moved from Illinois back down to Oklahoma once my father got stationed in the Navy to Virginia. So after that, my father kind of distanced himself from my sister as well. And he actually just came back into her life 2 years ago. Oh, wow. Yeah. So it's all a learning experience, but it's pretty cool having a sister. Because I was the only child. Yeah.
That's got to be great. That's awesome.
Yeah. And she has a lot of kids too, so it's pretty cool.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So that means your son can relate to someone
Definitely.
else. Okay. And does she have kids the same age as your son?
Yes.
That's awesome. He has cousins that he can play with.
Exactly. That's and good. They loved video games. He even sent me videos of them outside, and he's like, I hate it outside. Oh, like, come on.
Yeah, see, he has to get, he'll grow out of that. I'm sure it takes time for kids to do that. That's great. Okay. How do you handle stress and pressure in the past?
I usually just try to calm down. If I get too overworked, it's going to make me crazy. Okay. So I would just take 5-10 minutes and just try to figure something out. Like if I need to get something paid, if I need to get someplace, I have to try to maneuver things to do it, but I don't let too much stress me out.
Okay.
it adds to the gray hairs I already have.
That's good. So do you like, do you like read a book or do you listen to some kind of
I watch
smooth radio
Netflix.
Netflix? Okay, movies. That's
Yeah,
okay.
catch on my shows.
There you go. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
So tell me what's a typical day for you?
Well, I go to work about 9 in the morning. I work in Northbrook, so the drive over there. We work a very stressful job.
Okay.
We have a lot going on in that office and not enough employees. So I usually leave out anywhere between 6:30, 7, even 8 at night. And then I still have to fit in some DoorDash.
Okay.
So I'll do it in that area, and I'll come home about 9:30, 10 at night.
Oh, wow.
Yep, come home, get ready for bed, feed the kids if they need, because obviously they've probably already eaten 100 times. They cook themselves.
Exactly.
And yeah, go watch maybe an hour of TV
Okay.
and go to sleep.
So tell me, how do you, being the mom that you are, how do you fit in with that schedule, loving on them?
That's what I regret too. Like, I don't really get much personal bonding time with my children. I don't feel like my son feels the love I have for him,
Okay.
like especially my firstborn. But I try to tell them as much as I can, you know, I love them, I'm here for them. If you ever need me, you can call me. If you need to learn how to cook something, call me. Like, I'm here.
Okay. All right. So do you feel as a mom that, I know you're doing everything you can to make sure they have a shelter, have a house and all that. Do you feel as a mom that is in the back of your mind, like, hey man, I wish I can sit and really love on them for a day, and instead of running out and going to work today?
Yes, definitely. Well, after that year and a half, we were kind of homeless. We lived in that hotel. We had more time, but still kind of less because I still had to work triple time. But I thought it would even out once we got a house and, you know, less bills and all that, but it still got worse. Like, there's still no time, and you feel like there's even more coming at you.
Right.
So I try, like this weekend, I might take them to the Wings Park, you know, aquatic center.
Oh, wow.
Because my son's birthday, he just turned 7 on Wednesday.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I was like, I promise I'll take you somewhere, not just to the toy store.
Yeah. Okay.
But,
all right.
yeah.
That's awesome. Okay. All right. How do you get since you moved on from where you were before, and now where you at now? How do you feel as a mom?
I feel sort of accomplished that we actually got a house, a place that we don't have to have a temporary thing every day, making sure we have the room, enough money for the room. So I feel kind of proud of myself that I was able to get to this point.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Okay. So what do you do to calm yourself?
Watch Netflix. Yeah, pretty much. There's not much, like I said, I do.
Okay. So okay, let me take you through like a crazy scenario. So say you got up this morning, you went to work and so forth, and at work you all stressed out, and last night one of your son was throwing one of these little tantrums and so forth. How do you calm yourself down?
Well, I don't let it get to me.
Okay.
Because if it gets to me, then I will yell. And I've learned, you know, yelling doesn't really get you far. It makes them just like go back, and they don't really want to listen anyways. And even if you tell them no, they'll still go around and do it.
Okay.
So I just think to myself, like, do I want, like, is this how it's going to work? And I just figure out ways to get around that.
Okay. When's the last time you guys been on a family vacation?
4th of July.
4th of July, was that when you took your
Yep.
family down there? Okay,
Yep.
that's good.
My dad came up here for the weekend when he
wow.
dropped my son off, and then we'll be going back down Thanksgiving.
There you go. That's awesome.
Yep.
That's awesome. Great. Okay. What's some things that you would do different if you could growing up, raising your kids?
Growing up, like myself, or
Yeah.
before I had kids?
What would you do? First, what would you do different?
I probably would have stayed in school.
Okay.
I had a really rough childhood. I had an alcoholic, abusive drunk at my house, and I pretty much stayed on the streets since I was 14.
Okay.
So I would go to school, skip school, truant officer would be at my house, my grandma's calling the police, and yeah, it was just hard, a very hard childhood. So I did eventually graduate. I got pregnant with my first son, and I went to an alternative school, so I graduated on a laptop, but I still got my diploma. And yeah, I feel like if I would have had more guidance growing up, I probably would have went a total different path than what I went. Yeah, I've learned a lot, like what true love is. My grandma, she tried to kill me one time when I was pregnant, 6 months pregnant with my daughter, and I had to jump out the window. I jumped out the window pregnant, and my oldest son was like 3 years old. I disappeared for like 6 months, stayed with a family friend, and when I came back, like when I finally answered her phone call, she didn't even apologize.
Wow.
She just said, "It's tough love, get over it." So I didn't know what love is. That's why I kind of feel like probably it's harder to show my kids love, because I didn't know what that was. So I'm trying to do it the best way I can.
Right. Okay. So do you have a relationship with your grandmother now?
I do, but I kind of distance myself. Like, I have power of attorney over both my mother and my grandma. My mom's been disabled since I was born, so she has the mentality of a 12-year-old. She has epilepsy. She doesn't really know much.
Okay.
My grandma, she got Parkinson's, so she started going into the not walking, barely talking. She got her attitude back, of course. She calls me and she's like, "Remember me, the one you left over here?" But yeah, so she's in a nursing home, safe though.
Okay.
My mom's still out, but
Okay.
she'll be going next year.
Was she?
Yeah,
Okay.
she needs assisted
So
living.
how do your kids relate to? Do they get to see them, or do you allow them to see them?
Oh yeah, we still go and visit every once in a while. I go more frequent to my mom's because I have to do her medications. So I go every other week, and they say hi, bye. That's about it.
That it?
But there's no, like, I can't sit there and talk to my mom about anything because she won't understand. So it's like I never had that motherly bond either. No father, no mother. So
No.
yeah.
Okay. So since you went through that trauma with your grandma and your mother, how do you think that is different for you as raising your kids? You saw what they did to you. So what do you think that make you a better mother to them than it is that your parents were to you?
Well, you know how they always say, you know, when you're a kid, you turn out like your parents and all that? Well, it's kind of true. I went into the same cycles. I dated a couple people that were abusive, things like that. But my youngest son, his father, was the last one I was with, and I left him. I finally was like, I'm tired of being the one hit. I'm tired of the one having to run away. And so I took my kids and left. And it was the hardest decision ever because, you know, obviously the money.
Right, right.
It's harder on your own, 3 kids, everything.
Right.
But I had to do what's best for them. And they didn't need to see, like, even my oldest now, he's like, I want someone like my youngest dad. No, you don't. Like, you don't remember all of the stuff we went through, the fights,
Right.
the arguing.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's just not something I want for my kids. So
Right.
I've chose to stay single. It's
Yeah.
hard, but
Yeah.
it's the best.
Yeah. That's tough.
Yeah.
Okay. So now that your kids are getting older, what are some of the things that you're trying to get them installed in them as they become older, and letting them know that you don't want them to end up feeling like no one loves you?
Well, I tell them, like I said, I'm always here. If you ever need me, don't hesitate to ever find me or call me or anything. Like, I'm here. And I just pressure them, like, stay in school. You need to learn. You need to focus. Like, both my boys are on medications for the ADHD. And it's a little bit harder with that. But since my oldest has started taking the medicine a couple years ago, he's totally changed. Like, he loves school. He's totally into it. And he just loves to go. He's already ready to go back like a month ago. That's crazy, but it's amazing.
Yeah, it is.
And so I told them they just need to go to college. They need to find something they love. Don't do me and have $50,000 in student loan debt and pick all these different online schools, because online doesn't work if you're not into it.
So your daughter, she's 10, right? And so do you foresee her to? Do you talk to her about how you want her to make sure she chooses the, and I know she's young, but do you try to explain to her that you don't want things to end up like they were for you?
Yeah, I'm very open with my kids. They know a lot of the history and things I've been through. Even like from when I was a child, I've had a lot of things happen, and they just know, like, wait. Yeah, don't just settle for something.
Right.
Like, you have to work for it. You have to make sure it's right.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That's great. All right. Okay, and then you say that I know I asked you the question earlier about were you raised by a single parent or were you with your dad? I know you just found your dad and then your mom.
Yeah.
So they said when did your mom and dad separate?
Well, they were never really together. My dad was in the Navy.
Okay.
And even though he had my sister's mom here, like at the Navy base, he still went messing around. So that's where I came in. My mom was kind of already handicapped, so I'm not sure there. That's why I didn't really have expectations, because I kind of felt anger, because, you know, that's my mom. She's handicapped. Like, how can those things happen? But it happened to me too. So I could understand. I was raped when I was younger, like a couple times, and things just happen. People make mistakes, you know, they grow up from it. My dad didn't really say much about it, but he doesn't really have the memory of it. But still, he's a father. So he made me. I can't hold judgments or grudges. Like, I don't even hold judgments or grudges against my grandma for what she did to me and things she's done to me. But I did find out that when I was born, my dad did come to see me in the hospital. And I was told they wanted to take me, but my grandma wouldn't allow it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I always think, what if, but can't dwell on those because we're here now.
Exactly, that is very true. That's true. So if you could have one wish for yourself, what would it be?
To have $1 million.
Well, we all like that. Okay,
win the lottery, right?
Yeah, we all want to do that. But let's talk about, let's go to a little reality.
I guess have more balance with money. Like have a nice stable job where I don't have to work like 12 hours a day just to survive.
Okay. And what would be the one wish you would want for your kids?
To do whatever they believe in.
Okay. Okay, that's good. That's very good. So do you foresee your kids, if there's opportunities come available for your kids within the school system that they're in right now, and they're trying to open up some doors for them to be more involved? Do you think they'll take it on, or do you think they'll shy away from it?
No, I definitely think they would. Like when we used to live in Lake County in Waukegan, and they all went to Boys and Girls Club. There it was more focused on the younger kids, so it's not like the Elgin one. They only have teen programs. But I feel like if there's more programs available to them, they would go, like things they actually like. Like we even came here to the library to do little programs here, and they like it, but it's just the time factor. It's hard to get off early enough to when the programs work for them to go. Because I can't get home early enough to do that.
Okay, so how do that said, how do you balance with the homework for them then?
Well, they usually do their homeworks at school.
Oh, at school.
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense. So they do it the after school programs.
Well, sometimes because the younger two don't get after school programs because they don't have it. No.
Okay.
Like I said, the Boys and Girls Club doesn't do the younger kids. It's only if it's in their school. But if schools have a different program, they won't, like the SAFE program, they won't allow. But I was thinking maybe trying the SAFE program to give them that extra time after school to be with people. Yeah,
that makes sense. Okay. So you were looking for that. So what kind of other resources would you be looking for to help? Because I know that your day pretty much is full as far as, you know, all the way to 9:45 or 9 o'clock at night. What's some other resources that you can use to help you overcome some of the things that you're going through, besides a better job?
Yeah, well, like I tried for financial help from the township for like my electric. My electric got shut off, my water got shut off. And it's just things you can't keep up with, but they require so much paperwork. Like I feel like I'm giving blood. Like they just want my blood type. But yeah, like it just has to be more programs out there. Like there's not, you can go to the crisis center, you can go anywhere, and they'll give you all these lists of resources. You call them and they say, no, we can't help you. No, it has to be a current bill. It can't be a past due balance. Well, I wouldn't know if it wasn't past due.
Correct.
So yeah, like they just tell you no, even though they're there. That's all they say, no.
So you feel they send you in a circle as far as when
it's circles, nonstop circles. So then I feel like I don't even bother because that wastes my time. I have to get off work, go to these appointments, and they tell me no when I can just make the money and pay it myself.
Pay it yourself.
Yeah, like I suffer a little bit more. Other things don't get paid, but it's the necessities that have to be paid.
Right. That stinks. So if you had the opportunity with a better situation as far as working a better 8 to 5 or 7 to 3, and instead of doing a 9 till 9 o'clock at night, would make it better life for yourself and your
Way
kids.
better. Yeah, because I'll be able to take them to the programs they need to go to, things like that.
Okay. So what advice would you have for a single mom that's going to, say, it's a young girl and then she has younger, she's younger and she's 19, 20 years old and she has 2 or 3 kids and
Keep fighting.
Yeah.
There's always a way through. Like, you'll struggle, you'll have pain, suffering, but the joy on the kids' faces of having their own bed, of having their own stuff is way better than having nothing.
That is true. That's true. So one of the questions I want to ask you is that as far as you yourself, how bad has it been for you to figure out when your next meal is going to come before you got a job?
It's pretty hard. I have to figure out same thing, time to get to the pantries. A lot of the hours are not really good with my time, but there are a lot of pantries that have evening hours.
Okay.
So I just have to find the ones that do that.
Okay, that's good. Okay, I got one more question and then we'll wrap it up here. So since you came so far for where you're at now, and you counting your blessings as far as that go, what steps are you looking to take now to make things a little bit better? You want to take now? And they're baby steps. I know you don't want to take big steps because you don't want to shoot yourself in the foot and then nothing happens.
Yeah, I don't know. I just guess live one day at a time. I can't really think that far ahead of time because it's too far.
Okay.
Even one day ahead is too far.
Is it really?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. All right. Are you got anything else to add for your story that you want to tell us? Okay. Well, I appreciate you coming in and talk to us about your story and then being a single mom and things you have overcome. It's really important for people to hear about the things you're doing and how you overcame so far. And plus, raising 3 kids is tough. I know it's not easy at all to raise 3 kids, and 2 of them are boys and 1 girl. So I know you have a lot of struggle there. Yeah. So my hat goes off to you for that, and just keep plugging at it. And I'm sure something will open up, and maybe someone watch the show and they'll probably want to contact you and help you out a little bit. You never know, what's out there. So we thank Jennifer for coming in and being with us on the show today and on What's Up with Jim. I want you to stay tuned for August the 9th when I come on and talk about our basketball camp, knockdown basketball camp, which will be held at Judson from 8:30 to 12 on August the 10th. We're looking forward. We got like about 104 kids signed up right now, and it'll be an awesome day. We got the Windy City Bulls coming out there, and we have some other, we're giving away bikes and giving away backpacks and all kind of crazy stuff. We got college coaches coming out and donating their time, and high school coaches also. So we're looking forward to that. Stay tuned for our next show, which will be August the 9th.